Galnet News Update, 7th of August 3307. The peaceful, frequently persecuted believers in the so-called Far God, the interdimensional deity whom they say will shortly be coming to take us all away in an apocalypse that will draw down the curtain on humanity, have announced the routes of their 3 new starships, the Testament, the Perdition and the Sacrament, and the Thargoids aren't going to like it. The 3 ships are currently undergoing final tests in the Panjabell system before commencing their separate journeys of proselytization and revelation. The Sagan-class liner, the Testament, has been loaded up with the tambourine-wielding faithful who plan to cruise round the Loderi, Tangaroa, Elander, Duamta and Lindol systems, spreading the glad tidings about the forthcoming end of everything, and encouraging people to give up all hope and become a worshipper at the altar of the Far God. According to the happy-clappy people already aboard this emissary of doom, when the Far God descends from hyperspace and ends all life in the universe, the current status quo will be replaced by a void inhabited only by the holiest of beings. Apparently, adherents of the faith will be blessed by the Far God before being annihilated, a benefit lost to the rest of humanity who will receive a second-class annihilation without the blessing. And, it transpires, some of the Far God folk think they can dodge the speeding bullet of the end of everything. The Freedom-class survey vessels Perdition and Sacrament are being loaded up with those already of the faith and who can't wait for the inevitable destruction of everything by the Far God, and who plan to petition their deity to get a move on and destroy everything as soon as the deity's busy schedule will allow. The Perdition will stop off at Atane to pick up any survivors of the Thargoid attacks on the Sanctum and the Prophet cryogenic crypts there, and will then head off to the Pleiades and the Witchhead sector via Merope and Evangelis, something to which the Thargoids, whom the cult worship as prophets of the Far God, are unlikely to take kindly. The Sacrosanct will weave a slightly more wobbly course, but with the same general plan, to find Thargoids and ask them to hurry up with the end of the universe. It will first head out to Maya, and then it will come back via Atane, and then will visit the California sector, including the system where the famous Mick Turner-based Barkmans aren't. It seems highly likely, if we postulate for one moment that the cultists might be incorrect in their beliefs, and that the end of the universe might not actually be upon us, that the Sacrosanct and the Perdition will either be attacked by Thargoids, or that they will stir the Thargoid nest sufficiently to invoke a whole new invasion of the bubble by those most malodorous of aliens. Interestingly, the faithful aboard the 2 ships seem to have different expectations of the destruction of everything. Those aboard the Perdition seem content merely to have front row seats to the spectacle of their own destruction by the Far God. And to prove their worthiness for this grandstand view, they claim to be performing what they describe as agonising sacrifices, and drinking something they describe as the ichor of Xenokind, which, without knowing the details, sounds pretty disgusting. By contrast, the faithful aboard the Sacrosanct are the self-appointed chosen ones, who will survive the complete destruction of everything and will be blessed by the Far God when he pops out of hyperspace to destroy the universe. Some of the faithful from the Sacrosanct will become angels, not with 2 or 4 or 6, but 8 wings, able to soar through the utterly empty and featureless void, which sounds like it could get dull pretty fast, while others will be absorbed directly into what they describe as the Far God's black divinity. They do not explain whether this absorption into the Far God will involve a melding of minds or simply a larger-than-normal breakfast for the Far God. But the cultists aboard the Sacrosanct certainly seem to think they're a bit special. On the whole, it seems more likely that the fatalistic faithful aboard the Perdition, who seek only to die, are more likely to have their expectations fulfilled, probably no later than the middle of September.